Howdy, howdy, and welcome to episode 16 of hp1704 Answers Your Queries.
It's time to drink up all the beers. He is going to call you all a bunch of queers. It's the man with the mustache, you know him well. Answering your questions is his living hell. He likes to hunt and sleeps with a 12 gauge. He doesn't ask any questions about your sister's age. Talking to the nerds of NoobTube, yelling yob and touching your mother's boob. Just remember, all you pussies, to be a dick, or you join the wall made out of retard bricks. Shout hooray or scream out for more. Here is the one and only hp1704.
For those of you who don't know, this is a weekly show where I answer the questions and queries of the NoobTube community. Took a little time off, but now I'm back, so let's get straight to the questions.
You said beer from Wisconsin is the best beer in the world, but Miller has a brand called Milwaukee's Best that tastes worse than Satan's acidic piss. So can I call shenanigans on your statement?
Nope. Nick, hold on a second. Why should I take advice on taste from someone who actually has an adjective to describe Satan's piss? Next.
If you had 3 things to take before locking yourself in a bomb shelter with a negav, food, and water to last 50 years, what would the nuclear war broke out? What would be the 5 things you would bring into your underground vault? If you were to willingly be stranded on a desert island, what 3 things would you bring with you and why?
Alright, so these 3 questions are kind of related, so I'm going to do them all at once. With Royal Altiers, you know, it's a bomb shelter, and usually a bomb shelter is like real small. So, you know, one of my 3 things would be like, you know, a toilet or something, like a bucket. You know, I'm going to be there for 50 years. So what is the food in? I assume the water's in bottles, but is the food in cans? Maybe a Swiss Army knife then, because it has a can opener on it, but it also has, like, you know, a knife, just in case I need to cut things, and, you know, like a toothpick. That's a good thing to have. You're in there for 50 years. So there are 2 of my 3 things in the bomb shelter. The other one would be a married woman. So those are the 3 things I'd take with me into a bomb shelter. Now if I'm in an underground vault, you know, food and water would be 1 and 2. But I can assume that there are other people there, and maybe we even have our own plumbing system or whatever. So, you know, I got 3 things to play with. So if there are other people, one of them is going to be a shotgun, because I need to be in charge. You know, and I can do that with my fists, but, you know, I can be like surrounded. If it's like a big vault or whatever, you know, I can be surrounded, but I can't be surrounded if I've got a shotgun. You know, and then another one would be shells. There you go. So there's 4 of my 5 in the vault. The last thing I would bring in my underground vault would be the Holy Bible. You know, because that's the only book that needs to survive some kind of nuclear holocaust. So there you go. As far as sugar tits stranded on a desert island, you know, one cannot assume that there's animals on the island, so I would need to bring food with me. One cannot assume that there's fresh water, so there's 2, food and water, right? And then that only leaves one thing. I can't bring my shotgun and my shells. So I would bring you, sugar tits, and you could bring 3 things, which would include my shotgun and my shells. You know, and then you could pick something for yourself. You know, something pretty, if you wanted. Well, you know, or whatever, you know. Something for me if you want to. Whatever. So there you go. If I'm in a bomb shelter, I need, you know, bucket for a toilet, Swiss Army knife of some kind, and married woman. If I'm in a vault, I need food, water, shotgun, shells, and Bible. Desert island, food, water, sugar tits. Okay? So there you go. Next!
Will the Cubs ever win a World Series? And if they do, what would be the effects on the world?
Well, Cast, you and I both know that I am a Sox fan. So nothing gives me more pleasure than watching the Cubs lose over and over and over again. But they probably will win. And you know, this is not such a bad thing if you think about it. What you and I both know as kind of Cubs haters is that Cubs fans are all, you know, real stupid, large-chested blonde women, you know, who get drunk all the time. And if the Cubs actually won the World Series, all of them are just going to be looking to put out. And they're all like skanky, slutty, large-chested skank sluts. This is not a bad thing. The Cubs winning the World Series, not a bad thing. Especially with vapid blonde fans like they have. Fans. So there you go. It's not a bad thing. The effects on the world would be, I'll get laid by like 20 blonde bimbos. And maybe you will too, if you want. But you have to be preemptive. You gotta be in the area when it happens. So keep that in mind. Next! And now it's time for our featured question of the week. And this week, our featured question comes from Veritas, who is pregnant with my child, who writes,
If you owned a sports team, what would their name be and what sport would they play?
Well, Veritas, everyone knows that America is God's country, and football is America's game. Therefore, football is God's game. You know, that's hypothetical syllogism, look it up. So American football is the game of God. And clearly, if I owned a team, that is what they would play. You know, if I owned a football team, it would go a little something like this.
Alright, so first of all, we need somebody who embodies my football team. Someone the kids can look up to, a role model of sorts. There we go. The perfect guy, O.J. Simpson. Can't think of a better role model for the kids than O.J. for all the youth. Now we're going to need a coach, a player coach. Can't think of anybody better than Ditka. The coach. He's got a mustache too, that helps. We need some guys with good nicknames. We got Moose Johnson. Here's Too Tall Jones. And then since I'm a Bears fan, you know, we need Dan Hampton because he's big and he sells cars in the Chicagoland area. Now, anybody named Church on our team, Up Church, you know, he's got to be good. He's got God on his side. And then we need some weapons, so we bring in Rocket Ishmael. Next up, we got the refrigerator, William Perry, because he needs to bring the food. And then Brian Bosworth. If you don't know the Boz, look him up, because he's awesome. And a football team isn't complete without a dude named Bubba, so we get Bubba Paris. And then I can't think of a better quarterback than Lynn Dickey. Nothing says my team like a dude named Dickey. And as far as my team name, I want something powerful, something industrial and American, like a steamboat. So we'll go with the Steamers, and let's put ourselves in Cleveland. Because, you know, when I think of Steamers, I think of Cleveland. The Cleveland Steamers is my team.
So yeah, you know, the Cleveland Steamers, perfect. That, I can't think of anything wrong with that name. You know, particularly for that city in that state. You know, perfect. Perfect. Well, that's all the questions for this week. If you want to leave me a question and you're watching on NoobTube, you can post in this thread or you can PM me. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment under the video or you can, you know, PM me. And if you're watching this from my computer, please leave, because I do not know how you got in. You might want to leave, because I will shoot you if I catch you on my computer. Well, that's all the questions for this week. Till next week, I'm done. Yob.